Oh, where's the remote? Welcome to the hangar.
Welcome to the hangar, and thank you for joining our first podcast episode. Today we are doing what everybody likes to do. Payne, what is that?
Golf
Gay
girl.
sex.
Oh my god, gay sex?
No, not today. That's episode 2. Stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned, stay tuned.
In spirit of the spooky season, approximately 7 days after it ended, we're doing Native American folklore. And honestly, outside of that, Payne, let's just forget we're recording. Let's just chat for a bit.
Okay.
Growing up with cryptids. You know those old ass YouTube videos, like those early 2000s YouTube videos, like top 10 scariest cryptids caught on camera? Real
2023.
They're real 2014. And then it just has like a big red arrow on the screen. And it's obviously Slenderman or something that literally everybody knows. But
Top
still,
10 things you didn't know.
it still says shit like mysterious creatures.
Chinese folklore appears real in New York.
Top 10 demons caught on camera. I remember that shit used to scare me. Like specifically the demons one. Because I grew up a Christian kid. So like when I was seeing all the mysterious monsters videos, I was like, oh wow, those are so cool. But then when I saw the demons one, I was like, well, God did not like me for this one. Like I was afraid that he just like dropped me off from the heaven's gate and let all the demons into my room at night.
Sounds about right, yeah.
I was so scared that God is just gonna like leave one day because I was watching like the mysterious monsters videos instead of learning about the Bible. I am still a God-fearing man, by the way.
Yeah.
But like I used to do like some crazy shit outside. Me and my little brother would do it. We'd go outside and then we'd start collecting feathers and like weird shit outside. It could be a duck feather or something, but we'd still nail it to a tree. Or like put a thumbtack onto the tree. And every day we just go out in the morning thinking we're closer and closer to finding some type of cryptid. It's just like seagull feathers and duck feathers and shit. There's like dozens of them nailed to a tree.
Interesting.
Do you ever do shit like that?
No.
There has to be some weird shit you did.
I mean, yeah.
Did you believe in monsters, Payne?
No.
Damn. Yeah, top 10 mysterious creatures caught on tape by Chills. And he has like 28 million views. This was 8 years ago.
Number 16. Number 12. Number Burger King. Number Foot Leather.
9. Slenderman. Most amazing top 10. I fucking hated that channel because every single time they do the channel, it wasn't like some weird ass like chain smoker voice. You know that voice I'm talking about, like that gargly, deep weird voice. It wasn't that. It was just like this mildly attractive woman or like some random ass dude who's talking all jolly into the camera.
All right.
I shouldn't say mildly attractive. That sounds very insensitive.
Extremely attractive woman.
All right, wokies. I guess she's attractive.
All right, wokesters. You best calm it down.
Look at this one. Top 10 cryptids caught clearly on camera.
Clearly.
2025. They still make this shit in 2025. This is
God
5
damn.
months ago. And has
God damn.
180,000 views.
I don't know. You're not screen sharing. You might want to
Right,
do
want
that.
me to screen share?
Preferably.
Like, look at the little red arrow. You could tell that this is meant for like 2-year-olds.
These are the top 5 giant.
Like, look at this. Like, this guy
God damn.
edited the fucking red.
Just in
ever
case you
caught on
didn't get it.
camera. The last one is so big it could literally destroy a city. Comment which one you think is your favorite. But first, you will have incredible luck if you like and subscribe.
It's all replaced by AI too. Like, you see the guy who fell through the fucking stick. He goes through the stick.
But first, you will have incredible luck if you like and subscribe to my channel until this video ends. First is giant snail.
Giant
No
snail.
way.
Bro, what the heck? Is this even real? How did this
Me no la hablo no English.
thing become
Do you
so
think that
big?
snail is
Next is
Spanish? It
giant
looks
Komodo
Spanish.
dragon.
Look at that beast right there. Look at that.
This
Whoa.
thing is literally a real-life dragon now.
Phenomenal
One wrong
dragon.
move and you're literally dead.
Wow.
Next is
Literally.
giant butterfly.
Okay, but there are already big fucking butterflies that exist out there. Did we really need an AI video?
Bro,
That's
that
a
AI?
mall.
creature is not a butterfly.
That is a.
That thing is literally a bird.
I think they said literally more times than any other word.
I can't. I
Next
get like.
is giant rabbit.
Ei, pessoal, será que esse é o maior coelho do mundo?
This rabbit looks like it's been hitting the gym. Just look at how
That rabbit looks like a fat ass.
Looks like a fatso.
big that is. Next is giant oarfish.
Looks like a real burger huffer.
Comment down below which biggest animal caught on camera is your favorite.
I love how it has holes in it, like a flak jacket. Like that to me is worse than whatever this oarfish is. But yeah, basically cryptids have been just shit on for the past million years. And Halloween, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of dead. I went out this Halloween and Peyton, you want to know what most of the people on the porches were doing?
What?
They were complaining about how nobody is out on Halloween. Like there are no kids out there. Whenever like I brought a pillow sack out this Halloween. I know I'm a grown ass man, but fuck off. My audience is probably just as autistic as we are. But I go outside and I bring a pillowcase with me. And usually people don't like that anymore. I don't know why. They just think it's not modest. Which, I mean, to be fair, when I think of pillowcases, I think of those cartoons where the bully's like carrying a pillowcase and he dumps the whole bag of candy to the sack, and there's like 4 3-year-olds that go up dressed as princesses or some shit. Like, they have the kids perfectly timed to go up there right as the kid steals the candy. That's what it reminds me of. So naturally, I'm going to do that. I did, minus the stealing part. I didn't steal children's candy.
No, you just stole children. That is an AI-generated image of a Wendigo.
It is.
I also
an
don't
A-
even think that's accurate to a Wendigo.
Yeah, Wendigos, like, this is usually the way a lot of people try to dress it up, but they're a lot scarier than that. The idea that you won't even know what a Wendigo is until it attempts to kill you is so fucking scary. But yeah, Wendigos. Wendigos is the first on the list. This is, by the way, AI generated. Like, this entire
Yeah.
list is AI. I think it's only right we do a list like this in 2025 to see what we consider scary these days.
Man, deer women aren't even scary. They just kill rapists. It's not a scary thing to most people.
My pain. With our government, she'd kill everybody in there.
Man,
So, Wendigos.
every day I pray for Deer Woman to come to life.
I guess should I say like legend or lore? Well, I get the Wikipedia. Here we are, the Wikipedia. So yeah, this is the first podcast episode.
Yeah, no, I think a Deer Woman would kill literally fucking everyone.
Wendigo.
Population go.
So, this is just our first episode of the podcast. We're going to be looking at relatively scary Native American myths, and we'll decide whether they're scary or not.
Yeah.
So, I imagine everything back then was scary. I mean, I'm surprised there isn't like... I guess real life was a lot scarier than legends. Right? Like, Native Americans really were afraid of shit like Wendigos and Deer Woman. But I think they were a lot more afraid of the gunslinging cowboys. Or, like, building towns over their land.
Yeah, and giving them diseased blankets, diseased foods, ruining all their food.
And alcohols before contracts. Alcohol.
When I get a person alcohol.
My bad. Allegedly giving them spirit water. I apologize. That way they could reconnect with the land.
Yeah.
Drink these fermented fruits. Alright. We're gonna have to cut some of this shit out. That's
your job, not mine, so.
Alright. So, the Wendigo is a mythological creature, or evil spirit originate. By the way, I'm gonna make this more stimulating when I'm editing, don't worry. Wendigos are mythological creatures, or evil spirits originating from the... Oh, I'm gonna fuck a lot of these up. Payne, can you read this? Algonquians.
Algonquians?
Algonquian folklore. No, we might as well just do our diligence and see what Algonquian is.
The indigenous people of Canada.
Yeah, okay, it's not important. The concept of the Wendigo has been widely used in literature and other works of art, such as the social commentary and horror fiction. Alright, let's read the top bit and then we read the folklore. The Wendigo is often said to be a malevolent spirit, sometimes depicted as a creature with human-like characteristics who may possess human beings. Possess human beings? I thought they just straight up, like, skinned them.
No, there's a whole thing. Wendigos were people.
Actually, yeah, that's like their original thing. They were like groups of people that kind of just had their own weird voodoo shit going on. You know, why would he give it away? Sorry,
were people. They were just people who ate people.
Oh,
that's kind of the thing with Wendigos.
You're probably real to an extent. Then I wouldn't put it past like a cannibal group wearing skin, running around the forest.
Yeah.
I mean, people basically do that, but in Roblox now, they don't really need to, like, train their voices to sound like a 3-year-old to attract people to the forest.
What?
I'd say there's, like, a modern equivalent. Right. It is said to cause its victims a feeling of insatiable hunger, the desire to eat other humans, and they... Wait, so they're... Okay, well, whatever, I'm not going to go into it.
This is the Wendigo spirit they're talking about.
The desire to eat other humans and a propensity to commit murder. In some representations, the Wendigo is described as a giant humanoid with a heart of ice, whose approach is signaled by a foul stench or sudden, unseasonable chill. I love shit like that. Like an unironic description, heart of ice, and brings a chill wherever it goes. Like, that's scary shit. The fact that it can only be articulated, just, not even just as heartless, but that's just the type of heart it has.
That's just how cold as ice is, brother.
In modern psychiatry, the disorder is known as Wendigo psychosis. It's characterized by symptoms such as intense craving for human flesh and the fear of becoming a cannibal. Wendigo psychosis is described as a culture-bound syndrome. That sounds racist.
It does sound racist.
In some nations, communities, symptoms such as insatiable greed and destruction of the environment are also thought to be symptoms of Wendigo psychosis. This is just a fucking politician. Like,
Yeah.
this is anybody who has more than 5 figures on their net worth. Not that
That
I
includes you doctors and neurosurgeons.
Hey, Matt, like, the only reason why brain surgeons are brain surgeons is so that they can, like, hear voices in your head. They're, like, digging around for a spirit in there. I know you're in there. Where are they? Alright, let's continue. Folklore. The Wendigo is part of the traditional belief system of a number of Algonquian-speaking people. By the way, if there's any, like, mildly educated people who watch this, please correct us if we're getting this wrong.
Yeah.
Including the Ojibwe. I'm not even gonna try. The Algonquian people, the Ojibwe, the Saltiox, the Cree, the Naskapi, and the Innu. I've heard of the Innu people. Right? Of all of these, I've heard of the Innu. Although descriptions can vary somewhat, common to all these cultures is the view that Wendigos are malevolent, cannibalistic, and supernatural. They're strongly associated with North winter, cold, famine, and starvation. You know, thinking about it, I really wouldn't be surprised if, like, Wendigos... The fact that they're associated with, like, the high north and the colder climates, it's not unreasonable to think that people would wear animal skins and get desperate enough to just eat other people or do whatever they can to cannibalize.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Especially considering they had, like, a strong, like, farming culture, a lot of the tribes, or just Native Americans in general. Yeah, the Wendigo was gaunt to the point of emaciation. Its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones. See, I love these. Its bones pushing out against its skin. Its complexion of ash gray... No. Its complexion the ash gray of death. That is a weird sentence. And its eyes pushed back deep enough into their sockets. The Wendigo looked like a gaunt skeleton, recently disinterred from the grave. These are weird descriptions, but they're really cool. Let me put up my zoom. Sorry, I'm blind as a fucking bat. Make fun of me somewhere else. Alright.
Make fun of him in my DMs.
I'm gonna put your DMs up on the screen. What lips it had were tattered and bloody, unclean and suffering from suppuration of the flesh. The Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption. This sounds very repetitive.
Death. Scary as shit. Death.
It smelled like
Fucking
shit.
horrifying.
Looked like shit too.
Smells like ass.
But by the way,
Yeah.
we are not being insensitive by laughing. We just are giggly bastards.
Yeah. It's kind of like that one in the Logan Paul thing.
Suicide
Maybe that
force.
wasn't.
Is
Yeah,
is
with the
that what you're
suicide force.
referencing? All right. In local tribes, Wendigos are often described as giants that are many times larger than human beings, and a characteristic absent from myths and other Algonquian culture. Whenever a Wendigo ate another person, it would grow in proportions to the meal it had just eaten. Ugh.
Ooh.
So it could never be full. Therefore, Wendigos are portrayed as simultaneously gluttonous and extremely thin due to starvation. Wait, I didn't know that. So it grows proportionately to the things they eat.
That's scary.
Does that imply that, like, Wendigos, like, they can vary greatly in size depending on how many human beings they've eaten?
Well,
like,
pretty much anything, but yeah.
Yeah, like, they can eat they can eat a small group, and then the next village they come across, they can just devour in one night because it's that much bigger.
Yeah, no, that's
fucking terrifying.
I'd be shitting my pants. Yeah, no.
Alright. The Wendigo is seen as the embodiment of okay, this is just saying the same thing. Embodiment of gluttony, greed, and access. Never satisfied after killing, consuming one person. They're constantly searching for new victims. This sounds AI generated. Sorry for me to make such a vile assumption of Wikipedia.
And
Alright.
yeah, Wikipedia is just a bunch of different people. This is probably like 80 different people that didn't read any of it and were just trying to add their own thing.
Yeah, none of this is true. They're just like making shit
No,
up.
they just made this shit up. They haven't gone on Reddit once, so it has to be true.
It's almost like it's folklore. Alright. A Wendigo need not lose the human's powers of cognition or speech, and in some depictions may clearly communicate with its prospective victim or even threaten to taunt them. Especially, I love the thought of like, instead of trying to attract people, just like bully somebody to the point where they run into a forest.
It's like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're ugly. Look at your fucking face.
Like you're told
Ugly
not to go out at night, but like you can hear the voice to the window, like, you little bitch. You're not gonna go out there, are you?
Coward.
You're not gonna be a real warrior. If you're not gonna go out there. There's like a big ass bloody deer skull outside of their window, just like bullying them. Hey, a specimen of I gotta stop making jokes. A specimen of folk story collected in the early 20th century by Lottie Chicago Marsden. I definitely butchered that. An ethnographer. Huh? An ethnographer? What is that?
I don't know.
According to data. Alright. It's basically like a ethnic historian. No, that is not what it is.
Basically just like the average New York citizen.
Alright. An ethnographer that of the Chippewas of Rama's First Nation, in which a Wendigo also exhibits tool use, an ability to survive partial dismemberment, and auto-cannibalism. Auto-cannibalism...
Yeah, your body eats itself.
Yeah, self-cannibalism. So wait, this thing can use tools.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
Huh.
Gotta be honest.
So, like, it can make tools, it can bully you, and it can theoretically grow many times the size of the average man.
Yeah.
Huh. Alright, well, I guess if our first read, let's go over what they are, their folklore, and then lastly, the reinforcement ceremony, which I assume is like how they take care of the Wendigo. Among the local tribes, ceremonial dance is sometimes performed during times of famine to reinforce the seriousness of the Wendigo's taboo. The ceremony, known as Wendigo-kan-zimoen, was performed during times of famine and involved the wearing masks and dancing backwards around the drum. The last known Wendigo ceremony conducted in the United States was Lake Wendigo of Star Island of Cass Lake within the Leech Lake of the Indian Reservation. So, like, when was it, though? Like, what year? Okay, 1984. I think. But, just a disclaimer. Don't trust anything we're saying in this video.
Do not.
So, like, in my opinion, I think shit like wearing masks and big-ass bonfires and drums and learning to dance backwards, I feel like you guys should be preparing for the famine instead of putting an immense amount of manpower and resource into that. But then again, I would have done the same thing
eat your
too.
asshole. What if a Wendigo just like a Wendigo?
Yeah, you're just building a big fucking beacon for the Wendigo to attract across the country. Like, any local Wendigos would now know exactly where you are. But yeah, I guess...
that way they know where to avoid.
Alright. Next one is the Skinwalker. I think I got these two confused. Skinwalkers. Let's look those up. What's your thought on Wendigos, though?
My buddy Steve actually ran into one once. I wonder where he went. I was just talking to him, you know, he was about like, yeah, you know, I got the new jab. And then he was like, oh shit, oh, it's a Wanda-gland. And I'm like, okay, talk to you later. Then he died.
Oh, he died. Okay.
No clue how he could have died.
It has nothing to do with a Wendigo.
Nothing.
Alright.
They didn't find the body.
Alright. Okay. This one, I also like skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are pretty dope. Like, everybody knows what a skinwalker is. I think more people know what a skinwalker is than they know what, like, a Japanese person is. Yeah, skinwalker.
That might not be true.
Yeah, what do you know?
Both of those, I guess.
Well, it was a trick question. Japanese people don't exist, you liar. Everyone knows that everything comes from Hollywood. Either way. Skinwalkers. In Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a type of harmful witch that has the ability to turn into, possess, and disguise themselves as animals. The term is never used for healers. Huh. Alright, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the use of witch wasn't a thing until Americans touched the ground. Or, well, what we are now, Americans. Until, like, pilgrims and shit. Like, British people came to America. And, you know, since they called all women a witch, that's basically what they fell on whenever they heard these stories.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So they have the ability to turn themselves into animals. Got it. Or just possess them. Basically the same thing. The Yi Naldalushi. Huh. Or the Navajo. Right. The Navajo translated to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. Never mind. That is the local name for the skinwalker. The Yi Naldalushi. The skinwalker was gone by means of it, it goes on all fours. It is one of several types of skinwalkers within Navajo beliefs. There's more than one. Got
There's
it.
more. Yeah.
These witches are seen as the antithesis. Yeah, the antithesis of Navajo values. No,
The
antithesis. Right.
Open
Sorry.
door.
I'm functionally
Yeah, I know.
illiterate on camera.
Uh-huh.
The antithesis of Navajo values, performing malevolent ceremonies and using manipulative magic in stark contrast to the beneficial works of medicine people. Got it. So they're basically just like the ancient version of like health gurus.
Yeah, basically.
Got it. The legend of skinwalkers is deeply embedded in Navajo tradition and rarely discussed with outsiders. That's interesting. So there's like a almost a solemn or not even like a sacredness to the story of the skinwalker. They weren't just telling anybody about it. You think they were just like hoping that British people would get killed by them? Like they just didn't tell them on purpose?
Bro, they were preying on their downfall.
Like doing rituals just to make sure they get killed. Alright. The legend of skinwalkers is deeply embedded in Navajo tradition and rarely discussed with outsiders. Okay. Let's get to the legend of them. Animals associated with witchcraft usually include tricksters such as the coyote. Huh? The coyote's a trickster? Oh no, that's the thing that they turn into. Okay. However, it may include other creatures, usually those associated with death or bad omens. They might also possess living animals or people and walk around in their bodies. Skinwalkers may be male or female, so they could be witches or wizards. I think the correct word is sorcerer.
Yeah.
I think wizards are too badass to be skinwalkers. Skinwalker stories told among Navajo children may be complete life and death struggles that end in either skinwalker or Navajo killing the other. Or partial encounter stories that end in a stalemate. How do you stalemate a skinwalker?
Run away. It runs away. You run away.
Yeah, I guess if you get a big enough stick, I guess you can stalemate anything in that time. Encounter stories may be composed as Navajo victory stories or with the skinwalkers approaching a Hogan and being scared away. What's a Hogan?
Hulk Hogan.
It's the spirit of Hulk Hogan. A Hogan is a primary traditional dwelling of Navajo people. All right. So the skinwalkers were afraid of critical mass, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I would be too, honestly. Like, why a coyote, not a wolf or a grizzly bear?
Why not my old grandpa?
Non-native interpretations of skinwalker stories typically take the form of partial encounter stories on the road, where the protagonist is temporarily vulnerable, but then escapes from the skinwalker in a way that's not traditionally seen in Navajo stories. Sometimes Navajo children take European folk stories and substitute skinwalkers for generic killers. Like the Hook. The Hook Man is an urban legend of a killer with a pirate-like hook for a hand that attacks couples and cars. That sounds like some shit that would actually happen in like Cali. On those big ass.
That would totally happen in Arkansas.
It's probably not even all that rare. Alright.
The Hook Boy just came through with a hook and he just killed a guy.
Honestly, I'm not that like that wasn't really as interesting as I thought it would be. I mean, it's skinwalkers. It's like base level Native American lore. A harmful witch, you know, like I'd assume a witch is harmful, like that comes with the label.
But Luca, have you ever went down to the farm?
No.
Oh.
Alright, here's one of the cooler ones, the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, Thunderbirds.
Yeah, Thunderbirds, they have statues of that shit too. Yeah, Thunderbirds. There seems to be a lot of lore on it, actually. The Thunderbirds is a mythological bird-like spirit in North American indigenous peoples' history and culture. It is considered a supernatural being of power and strength. It is frequently depicted in art, songs, and oral histories of the many Pacific Northwestern coast people or cultures. Okay, so this seems like our first benevolent spirit. Oh, wow. Wait, so like different tribes have different accounts, it seems. Alright. The Thunderbird is said to create thunder by flapping its wings. That is sick as fuck. And lightning by flashing its eyes. Wow. Across cultures, Thunderbirds are generally depicted as birds of prey, or hybrids of humans and birds. Thunderbirds are often viewed as protectors, sometimes intervening on the people's behalf, but expecting veneration, prayers, and gifts. Got it. So, he's a scammer, is what I'm understanding. He, like, helps people by turning a Wendigo into ash, and then after that, he expects, like, prayers and crops.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is fair. I mean, I say that as if I'd rather fight the Wendigo. Archaeologically, sites containing depictions of the Thunderbirds have been found to date 4,000 years. That's crazy, actually. Wow. Okay, time to read all the depictions of it. Like, one of the depictions is an actual chicken scratch. The Thunderbird myth and motif is prevalent among Algonquin peoples in the Northeast and Eastern Canada and Northeastern United States and the Iroquois people surrounding the Great Lakes. The discussion around the Northeast region has included Algonquin people speaking people in the lake bordering the U.S. Sorry. What a shit show of a sentence. The discussion of the Northeast region has included Algonquin-speaking people in the lakes bordering the U.S. Midwest. Huh. In the Algonquin mythology. Oh my lord. Paid, I'm gonna have to edit so much of this.
Yep.
In Algonquian mythology, the Thunderbird controls the upper world while the underworld is governed by the underwater panther or the great horned serpent. What? That sounds so cool. How have I never heard of this? The underwater panther? We'll get to that. The Thunderbird creates not just thunder with its wings flapping, but lightning bolts, which it can cast upon the underworld creatures.
Damn.
I got notification. Alright, so this thing just likes sniping underworld cats for the fun of it. Honestly, I'd do that too. That sounds sick. The Ahui boy. Alright, I'm gonna have to. What is this?
Ojibwe.
The Ojibwe. Alright. The Ojibwe version of the myth states that the Thunderbirds are created by the Nanaboso. Huh. Which is a spirit. To fight the underwater spirits. Thunderbirds also punished humans who broke moral rules. The Thunderbirds lived in the four directions and arrived with the other birds in springtime. In the fall, they migrated south after the end of the underwater spirits' most dangerous season. That way, the four directions is just like the compass, the cardinal directions, cardinal points.
I thought so.
So, like, these Thunderbirds were just made to absolutely ravage the underwater spirits.
Yeah, something like that.
I am curious of what the underwater spirits are about. So, the Menominee of northern Wisconsin tell of the great mountain that floats. Tell of a great mountain that floats in the western sky, on which dwelled the Thunderbirds. That's the coolest shit ever. A floating mountain in which they reside. They control the rain and the hail and delight in the fighting and deeds of greatness. They are the enemies of the great horned snakes, and have prevented these from overrunning the earth and devouring humankind. They are messengers of the great sun himself. They sound a lot more badass in this version of the lore. It almost reminds me, have you heard of the Yggdrasil?
Nope.
In Norse mythology, there's like a world tree called the Yggdrasil, and at the bottom is a horned serpent that devours the roots, and at the top is a like wise eagle. And there's a rat named the Ratatasker that goes between them and starts like telling lies to convince each other to kill each other. It kind of reminds me of that.
You think that rat would enjoy Twitter?
He's probably a politician right now and we just don't know it. Alright, that seems to be where most of their lore ends. Thunderbirds are cool. I like Thunderbirds.
Yeah, no.
I love the idea that, like, they're just all business. They kind of come in, strike whatever looks dangerous with an unfathomable amount of lightning, and then leaves. Alright, this one is of the Cherokee. The horned serpents. Also known as the Ulktena. I've actually heard of these before. The horned serpent appears in the mythologies of many cultures, including Native American people. European and Near Eastern mythology. Interesting. But it makes sense. Serpents are like all over mythology. Details vary among the creatures, with many of the stories associating the mythical figure with water, rain, lightning, thunder, and rebirth. So it's an avatar. Horned serpents were the major components of the southeastern ceremonial complex of North American prehistory. Huh. Okay, let's see. Is this like a multi-faceted point of lore? Yeah, there's multiple settings for this. Let's focus on the Native American cultures. The horned serpents appear in the oral history of numerous Native American cultures, especially in the southeastern woodlands and Great Lakes. The Muskogee Creek traditions include a horned serpent and a tie snake? I think that's a tie snake.
Huh.
Sorry, I need to read this word. Estaquinavi? Or Estaquinav? Alright, we're looking at the word again. Shit, alright. The Estaquinav in the Muskogee Creek language. I'm just gonna avoid reading some of these words. Horned serpents appear in the oral history of numerous Native American cultures. Muskogee Creek traditions include a horned serpent and a tie snake, otherwise known as the Istakwinaviv, or the Istakwinav. The Istakwinav. I don't know. Guys, just correct me in the comments, please. These are sometimes interpreted as being the same creature and sometimes different or similar, but the horned serpent is larger than the tie snake and all. To the Muskogee people, the horned... Yeah, I'm saying that right. To the Muskogee people, the horned serpent is a type of underwater serpent covered with iridescent crystalline scales and a single large crystal for a forehead. That also sounds sick. Let me just read that again. Iridescent crystalline scales and a large crystal on its forehead. Both the scales and crystals are prized for their powers of divination. Wow. The horns called Chidogabi is definitely the way you say it, were used in medicine. Okay, so now we're getting, like, mythical medicines.
Hashtag I did this to my homeboy Derek and he fucking died.
It was just drugs. Like, these are just ancient drugs. Jackson Lewis, a Muskogee Creek informant to John R. Swanton, said, "This snake lives in the water and has horns like the stag." The stag? Were stag beetles in America? Or like, were they talking about something else?
No, like the elk. Like they're kind of like
right, the elk. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know I immediately went to stag beetle. Thanks. It is not a bad snake. It does not harm human beings, but seems to have magnetic power over the game. Fuck off, John Swanton. You're telling me this thing is not malevolent, but has magnetic power over the game? What does that even mean?
The game, Luca.
Right.
The only game there's ever been, Luca. Fortnite.
Native Americans in Fortnite. Alright. In stories, the horned serpent enjoyed eating sumac, or rus glabra. That's a plant. It's a North American species of plant. Alabama people call the horned snake the Ticinto sactacto. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna get ravaged for this. Called the horned serpent the Quinto Sacto. I think it's a Quinto Sacto. Or the crawfish snake. That was a lot easier to say. That also sounds a lot more Alabama. One of them crawfish snakes.
One of them crawdad snakes, you know, you're my shame.
Which they divide into 4 classifications based off the horn's colors, which can be blue, red, white, or yellow. Honestly, I hope that my horned serpents, like my local ones, have the white horns. Those sound cool.
So you hope that your local serpents are white?
Yeah, Peyton. I think that... I think it'd be cool. I think it would be cool. Alright, okay. What do you want? You want fucking yellow horns? Don't lie to me.
Yeah?
No, blue and red and white. That is not blue a bias.
Blue horns.
Alright, the Yuki people, I'm again just gonna make sure I'm saying that right. Crap, there is no like audio for this. They are from Oklahoma though. The Yuki people made effigies of the horned serpent as recently as 1905. That's a long time ago to say recent.
They were really riding with that guy, man. That was...
An effigy was fashioned from stuffed deer hide, painted blue. Fuck off. It should have been white. Actually, I'm gonna stop saying that. Painted blue, and if the antlers painted yellow. The Uchi Big Turtle Dance honors the horned serpent spirit, which was related to storms, thunder, lightning, disease, and rainbows. What? Okay, so, like, this tribe is honoring them, and other tribes are just hoping that, like, the snakes get airstriked by the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
They come off of their fucking flying mountains and atomize all the local snakes. Those who say that the Uktena is a great snake, I gotta stop saying it like that. I sound so fucking stupid. The Uktena. Anyone who says the Uktena is a great snake, as large as... Okay. Those who know say the Uktena is a great snake, as large around as a tree trunk, with horns on its head and a bright blazing crest like a diamond on its forehead. So this depiction saying diamond. Diamond, crystal, same thing. They're all shiny. And scales glowing like sparks of fire. That sounds terrifying. It's so cool. It almost reminds me of the Quetzalcoatl. It has a ring of fire. No. It has rings or spots of color along its whole length and cannot be wounded except by shooting in the 7th spot from the head. Sorry? So it has spots on its head. Because under this spot is where its heart and its life. Okay. Because under this spot are its heart and its life. I feel like those are both the same thing. I don't know why the person who types on these Wikipedias types so convoluted.
What the fuck do one of them say? Yeah, there's like some snakes and stuff, bro.
What about just like
Yeah,
shoot it in the heart? It cannot be wounded except by shooting in the 7th spot from the head. Because under this spot are its heart and its life.
It's showing you where to locate it in case you ever run into the scenario, Luca.
I know, it has spots along its belly.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah, the heart is located at like the very back of its body. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. All I had to do is just like use my eyes. The blazing diamond is called the Ulan Sudi, or the transparent, and he who can win it may become the greatest wonder worker of the tribe. So like, are there recorded situations where some guy's just carrying a big ass diamond? He just like straps it to his back, like a Lucky Charm. All right, but it was worth a man's life to attempt it, for whoever is seen by the Uktena is so dazed by the bright light that he runs towards the snake instead of trying to escape it. Damn. As if this were not enough, the breath of the Uktena is so pestilential that no living creature can survive should they inhale the tiniest bit of the foul air expelled by the Uktena. Are you sure this wasn't just a British person? And like, the shiny helmets were just so overbearing?
You know what? Could have been.
Like, think about it. Shitty breath. You gotta shoot them in the balls to take them down. Presumably because they're wearing armor. They got those big-ass helmets. This is a British person. Even to see the Uktena asleep is death. Not to the hunter himself, but to his family. Jesus Christ!
It really is British.
This is definitely the most confusing story yet. On one hand, they're getting death angeled by birds in the sky. But on the other hand, they're also really cool and chill. But they also instantly kill your family if you look at them the wrong way.
Yeah, you know?
Native Americans are interesting creatures. Or people, my bad.
Fucking hell. We're done. Just stop it. Just look at your neck. Look at just kill yourself.
Alright, we gotta speed things up slightly. The Pukwudgie. A Pukwudgie, also spelled as the Pukwudgie, translated by Henry Schoolcraft. What kind of name is that? Schoolcraft?
Remember, last names were like your job. It was probably a teacher.
Where could I educate myself, sir? Try Henry Schoolcraft. Alright. Let's just get straight to the mythology, honestly. According to legend, the Pukwudgies can appear and disappear at will. They shapeshift. You know, there's a lot of shapeshifting in Native American lore.
Yeah.
If the most common creature, it looks like a porcupine from the back and a half-troll or a half-human from the front. Huh. It reminds me of Quasimodo. A little bit. So mean. They lure people to their deaths, use magic, launch poison arrows, and create fire. Okay, I love how they can use magic and create fire, but they still have poison arrows.
Yeah. Poison's really effective.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, you know, when the mana pool runs out. Native Americans believe that Pukwudgies were once friendly to humans, but then turned against them and are best left alone. According to lore, a person who's annoyed a Pukwudgie would be subject to nasty tricks by it, or subject to being followed by the Pukwudgie, who would cause trouble for them. Huh. They're also known to kidnap people, alright, and push them off cliffs, and attack their victims with short knives and spears, and use sand to blind their victims. That got significantly more violent. Why do we have short knives and spears? I thought they have magic.
Luca, what if the knives and spears are magic?
It just like teleports a knife into your stomach. Again, this just sounds a lot like British people. Kidnap people, push them off cliffs, attack
This is
short
like the
knives.
scariest shit they could think of. So obviously, you know.
Throw sand in the eye to blind victims. They kind of remind me of the demi-humans from Elden Ring.
A little. Yeah.
Alright. The Pukwudgies are said to be the enemies of culture heroes. The giant Sorry, I think the dog is whining. Pukwudgies are said to be the enemies of culture heroes. The giant Moshop and his wife in Granny Squannet. Sorry? Who's Granny Squannet? A mythological figure from folklore. She is the wife of the giant Moshop. Huh. Alright, so the giant Moshop and his wife Granny Squannet. One story from Wampanoag. Dude, these are like Dark Tide names. I should not be comparing Native American names to fucking Dark Tide. One story of Wampanoag folklore explains that they began causing mischief and tormenting the natives out of jealousy of the devotion and affection the natives had for Moshops, who eventually exiled them to different parts of North America. The Pukwudgies have since been hostile to humans and took revenge by killing Moshop's 5 sons. Some variations even suggest that they killed the Moshop himself. Alright, so these motherfuckers just killed the entire cast. And their sons.
Yep.
Why did they think they were once friendly to humans again?
I don't know.
Huh. Alright, by the way, these creatures are found in Wampanoag folklore, found in Delaware, in Prince Edward Island. Again, British people. Prince Edward Island, Indiana, and Massachusetts. Huh. They weren't even a foot tall. I know you're gonna make a joke about my height. You're like, I'm just gonna stop you before you even do something stupid like that.
I wasn't even gonna say anything. That's the funniest part. You just immediately deflect without me having to do anything.
Alright, we're on to your favorite one, the Deer Woman.
Yay!
Alright, Deer Woman. Deer Woman, or sometimes known as a Deer Lady, is a spirit in various indigenous American mythologies, whose associations and qualities vary, depending on the situation and relationships. But generally, to men who have harmed women and children, she is vengeful and murderous, and known to lure these men to their deaths. How does a deer kill somebody?
Oh,
Or like more
probably,
specifically, like a fawn doing that.
I don't know.
Huh. She appears either
Probably
as
with the
She appears either as a beautiful young woman with deer feet or as just a deer itself. I like to imagine just like a homicidal Bambi, just like stalking you all day.
Hold on. I will be right back. You can continue, Tom.
All right. As native political goals and social movements continue to expand in response to the increasing violence against indigenous women, new retellings of Deer Woman stories have emerged. Contrary to her traditional narrations, Deer Woman has been reimagined within the framework of missing and murdered indigenous woman, abandoning her image as a murderous seductress for that of a self-saving hero acting out of necessity. That's really cool. It kind of reminds you of the Love, Death, and Robots episode. The Japanese one.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I love the idea of that, like hard set cultural things just being completely flipped based on the realities that are around them.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what else is to read up on. Here we are, the overview. Deer women are found in multiple indigenous American cultures, often told by young children or by young adults and preteens in the communities of the Lakota people and a whole host of other tribes. I'm just gonna put an image up for it because I'm too afraid of pissing somebody off. No, I'm not. I'm just too lazy.
Yeah.
And those, okay. Well, I gotta reread it anyways. Deer woman stories are found by multiple indigenous American cultures, often told by young children or young adults and preteens in many of the Native American communities. And those are only the nations that have documented deer woman sightings. So they're implying that there's more to her than just like the many local or spread out indigenous American cultures. Though Deer Woman can be malevolent towards humans, her role in indigenous culture is to uphold traditional society by keeping humans in line by discouraging harmful actions that have the potential to destroy the humans in their community. The legend of Deer Woman is the legend of Deer Woman in particular pushes them away from actions like promiscuity and infidelity. Alright, as an example of what happens when these spiritual rules are broken and the people who incur the wrath of Deer Woman and her uncle, Thunder, soon die. Sorry, her uncle? So, Deer Woman is a single entity and she has an uncle. Huh. Uncle Thunder and Deer Woman. That sounds like a Cartoon Network show. Some stories describe the sightings of Deer Woman as a sign of personal transformation or as a warning. Deer Woman is said to be fond of dancing and will sometimes join a communal dance unnoticed, leaving only when the drum beating ceases. That's cool. Let's see, the cultural impact. Indigenous women and girls were reported missing in the U.S. more recently in 2022. Wow, that's scary. Over 5,400 cases were reported. That's terrifying. This demonstrates the sustained violence indigenous women are being subjected to from all ages and groups. A reported 84% of all indigenous women have experienced violence in their lifetime. From this violence emerged the grassroots movement, like the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native American Women, the CSVANW, and the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Woman, the MMIWG. I'll put links for that, just in case anybody wants to look into that too, because brutality on like minority groups, especially, I'm not gonna say especially against women, but like, why are you targeting a woman like this?
No.
I say this as if our audience is like that. Why is our audience targeting women like this? If you do that, you should. Actually, if you specifically do that, you should go to hell. Fuck you. Get off the podcast.
Yeah, no, we should Should be violently executed, honestly.
I hope
Low-key
that
violent.
you are kidnapped by a deer woman and eaten by her children.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Alright, continuing. Who call it? Okay, so stopping violence against Native American women who calls for Native visibility, safety, and justice that have inspired the followers of these political and social movements to turn to traditional stories for their representatives or their representation. With her teachings on self-defense and adherence to traditional indigenous values, Dear Woman's story has captured the attention of activists, scholars, and community members due to her physical and cultural resistance to colonial subjugation. That's a really cool cryptid.
Yeah.
Man, in my fucking American is coming out again. Folklore, not cryptid. She's not a cryptid. She is a female empowering, like, culturally relevant folklore that lives on today.
A true feminist icon.
Yeah, an actual feminist icon. All right, all the white
Yeah.
bitches.
Fuck you, Sabrina Carpenter. You're a bitch.
Comments. All you fucking Taylor Swifties. That's a feminist. We should write a 30-song album about our billion-dollar oppression.
Yeah.
We should showcase Native American icons like Dear
We should
Woman.
get Tory Lanez on the album.
Dear Woman
And
and
kill him on the album.
Diddy. Alright. We're on 7. I say we do another 5. Why not?
Alright. Sounds good, actually.
3
Oh,
o'clock. They're at the
I got time
Kushtaka.
for this.
The Kushtaka is our next little folklore.
The
Okay.
little guy.
The Kushtaka were the Kujdaka, also known as the Land Otter Man, are mythical shape-shifting another shapeshifter found in the folklore of the Tlingit peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast of North America. So, of all monsters, I think that a land otter is the most valid. Have you seen river otters?
Yeah, river otters are fucking scary.
Yeah, they operate in gangs and rape creatures and harass alligators.
Yeah, no.
Which, I mean, like, saying harass alligators is like me saying a bunch of Middle Easterners harassing an armored car. It really isn't. I assume that the alligator isn't in that much danger. I couldn't be wrong.
I don't know, you could be right. They're probably gonna throw rocks at it, man.
Make small little weapons. Alright. Physically, Kushtaka are shapeshifters capable of assuming human form. And that form is an otter. But it potentially has other forms. In some accounts, the Kushtaka is able to assume the form of any species of otter. In others, they can only assume one species. It's not specifying which species. Accounts to their behavior seem to conflict with other ones. In some stories, the Kuzdaka are cruel creatures who take delight in tricking poor Tinglet sailors.
Damn.
Wow. To their deaths. In others, they are friendly and helpful, frequently saving the lost from death by freezing. Huh. In many stories, the Kuzdaka save the lost individual by distracting them with curious otter-like illusions. Huh. As their family and friend... Okay. Sorry. Curiously otter-like illusions of their family and friends as they transform their subject into a fellow Kuzdaka. Alright, so this is indoctrination. It's not saving them.
Yeah.
Alright, thus allowing them to survive in a cold. Okay, it's kind of like the greater of two evils. Naturally, this is counted by mixed blessings. However, Kushtaka legends are not always pleasant. In some legends, it is said that the Kushtaka will imitate the cries of a baby or the screams of a woman to lure victims into the river. Once there, the Kusaka either kills the person or tears them to shreds. Damn. Also, I love how in like 99% of all folklore, the person that it mimics screaming from is a baby or a woman. Like, I'd like to imagine if it was like a 30-year-old man, nobody would care.
It was just like, ooh, man. He sounds old enough to handle himself.
It's implying too that like men just do this shit. Like, if they're screaming, then it is not something to be alarmed about. Which, I mean, if all these fucking cryptids, it has to get old at some point. Especially if, like, how many little boys are screaming at the forest because they're, like, delusional or have some type of illness.
Yeah. If a man's screaming, he's probably already dead anyway.
Yeah. If a grown-ass man is screaming bloody murder, it's probably too late. Also, tears them to shreds, or will turn them into another Kushtaka. So it definitely is a greater evil type of thing. Alright, legends have it that Kushtaka can be warded off through copper, urine, dogs, and some stories, or fire.
Or fire.
Also, again, this is what I mean by the Wikipedia. It says copper, comma, urine, comma, dogs, comma, and some stories, and then comma, fire. Like, and I don't get it. Whatever. Since the Kushtaka mainly prey on small children, it has been thought by some that it was used by Tlingit mothers. I am saying that, right? No, Tlingit mothers to keep their children from wandering close to the ocean by themselves. I'm not saying or like making an assumption, but British people. Like, it either tears you to shreds or you become one of them. Kidnaps local children from the waters. British people. Alright. Next is the Shindy. I'm gonna start being more selective as well. Because some of these look cooler than others. Oh wow, this has a... Wait, this has a pretty short rundown of its lore. In Navajo religious beliefs, a Shindy is the miasma left behind after a person dies, believed to leave the body with the deceased's last breath. Huh. It is everything that was negative about the person's life, pain, fear, anger, disappointment, dissatisfactions, resentment, and rejections. Just those specifically. As the residue of that man has been unable to bring universal harmony. Huh. That's a pretty cool thing. Like, an amalgamation of all the negative things oozing from your body into a poltergeist almost.
Yeah, no, hashtag relatable.
It's the average factory worker. Traditional Navajo believe that contact with a Shindy can cause illness and death. Yes, I'd assume. Shindy are believed to linger around the deceased bones or possessions. So, possessions are often destroyed after death and contact of bodies is avoided. So, like, they say it as if this is kind of just average. Like, possessions and contact of the bones is just something they usually ignore. Like, something gets possessed and they're like, oh, okay. But these guys specifically, they're like, okay, maybe we should exorcise this one. Do you think, did the Native Americans do exorcisms? Yeah, my American coming out again.
Probably some tribe at some point tried to get something out of someone.
Well, they say that the possessions are destroyed, so it's implying exorcising it.
Yeah.
The more personal the possession, the stronger the Shindy. After death, the deceased's name is never spoken for fear that the Chindi will hear it and come to make one ill. Traditional Navajo practice is to allow death to occur outdoors and allow the Chindi to disperse. If a person dies in a house, or Hogan, again, Hulk Hogan, the Native American guardian spirit, that belief, okay, that building
like
is believed. Sorry, what did you say?
I don't know, man. Hulk Hogan, out of all people, that has to be like heresy at some degree.
Heresy. They're heretics amongst the Navajo. That building is believed to be inhabited by the Chindi and is abandoned.
Spooky.
Yeah, so if a person dies in a house or a Hogan, then the building they died in is believed to be inhabited by the Chindi.
Yeah.
So, like, you think that's why some, like, small villages and shit were just entirely abandoned? Other than them being nomadic, of course. But, like...
Probably.
That's such a, like, haunting thing to think of. Like, the idea that there's such an extreme fear of these types of spirits that they just completely abandon living spaces. Huh. That's all the lore for it, though. There's nothing else. It's just, like, your classic Reaper. Or not even Reaper, but, like, just ghost. Okay, this one is interesting. The rolling head.
What?
Let's see. The rolling head. Okay, it just pulled up a video game. Alright. The rolling heads. Also known as the cannibal heads.
Not a good start.
Already, that's like haunting. The idea that a severed head would eat you alive. Alright, so this has a completely different wiki page for it. Rolling heads are man-eating monsters from the legend of the Midwestern and Plains tribes. The rolling head appears to be an undead, disembodied head with long, tangled hair, which rolls along the ground in pursuit of humans to kill and devour. Rolling heads are created when victims of particularly violent murders rise from the dead to seek revenge. In most stories, this takes the form of an angry man who murders his unfaithful wife. Okay. Although in some versions, the victim is killed for witchcraft or violating a taboo instead. Sometimes the story is made more gruesome by the addition of forced cannibalism. The homicidal husband either feeds his dead wife's flesh to their children. Oh!
I feel like that's just not necessary.
or else feeds her dead lover's flesh to her before killing her. Oh. Sometimes the husband is made even more unsympathetic by describing him as neglectful or a bad provider to begin with.
Jesus. That was a bad father, and he forced his wife to eat her children? Like, that's not good.
The idea that they're like, yeah, this seems a bit too fucked up even for a man. Let's make him like an asshole on top of it.
This is like...
It's funny.
I'm playing DS3. We're doing a spells only run. Someone just said Lord of Cinders ahead in front of a broadsword.
It's amazing. By having him try to kill the children. Okay, wait. Yeah, I'm continuing. Neglectful or a bad provider to begin with, or having him kill the children to leave them to die. Wait, have him kill the children or leave them to die. So, like, why does he need to be an asshole at this point? If he's like, from what I'm getting from this, the father is either possessed or is the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually this series of evil acts results in a rolling head. Okay, now, this is the act that gives the... Okay. Honestly, I'd rise from the dead, too, to get revenge, too. Rolling heads rise from the victim's grave. The rolling head takes revenge upon the murder, then proceeds to terrorize its own children and or the neighboring people until someone finally manages to destroy it. Wow, that is just an incredibly raw, dark legend. Like, it just seems overtly violent and disgusting. Pretty cool, though. It is sometimes said that rolling heads can only be killed by drowning. A drowned rolling head turned into a sturgeon in some folklore. Huh. So the sturgeons were the enemy all along. In other stories, rolling heads were defeated through the magical power. Right, through magical power or by causing them to fall off a cliff. You got magical power or falling off a cliff, one or the other.
I mean, those do seem like two pretty effective ways to kill something.
Alright, now we're getting to the other one that we read about earlier. The underwater panther, or the Mishi Peshu. I've heard that name before. The Mishi Peshu, or the underwater panther, is one of the most important of several mythical water beings among indigenous people in northeastern woodlands. In mythologies of the indigenous peoples of the Great Lakes, underwater panthers are described as water monsters that lived in opposition of the thunderbirds, masters of the powers of the air. Sorry, I read that wrong. Underwater panthers are described as water monsters that live in opposition to the thunderbirds, masters of the powers of the air. Again, fuck you, Wikipedia. Underwater panthers are seen as an opposing yet complementary force to the thunderbirds. Sorry, complementary? And they are engaged in eternal conflict. Okay, this makes sense. This is just Warhammer. 40k. Okay.
40k.
Warhammer reference in indigenous peoples and water panthers. The underwater panther was an amalgam of parts from many animals and Sorry, did you hear my heater pop?
No, I didn't.
Alright. The underwater panther was an amalgam of parts from many animals, the body of a wild feline, often a cougar or a lynx, and the horns of a deer or a bison. Those are two drastically different animals. A deer or a
Not
bison.
if you have the right mindset.
Upright scales on its back, occasionally feathered, and parts of other animals as well, depending on the particular myth. So they're just like a Frankenstein of different local animals. Underwater panthers are represented with exceptionally long tails, occasionally with serpentine proportions. The Mishipizu were said to live in the deepest parts of lakes and rivers, where they can cause storms or squalls and rapids. Or rapids, otherwise shifting the direction and force of currents. They can sink canoes, drown Indians, and often children. I feel like they could just drown people. Like, is it specifically Indians? If there was a British guy over the water, would they be?
If there's like some Spaniard, he's just like chilling.
Like, French people did exist too, but I'm just defaulting to British.
Yeah, no, it really was just the whole.
They were too busy fighting in Canada. So they sink canoes and drown Indians. The creatures are thought to roar or hiss in the sounds of storms and rushing rapids. I feel like it wouldn't really make a difference. Like, if you're in a canoe during a storm or rushing rapids, do you really need an underwater panther to get yourself killed? I feel like there was a list of bad decisions made before this event.
Yeah.
Now, me and Peyton will go into a stormy rapid somewhere in North America.
Okay. No?
Particularly during hurricane season.
No.
Payne will bring an elephant gun. That way we'll make sure we kill one of them.
I'm pretty sure an elephant arm would unironically just break my arm. I do not have the muscle strength for an elephant.
It'll break your arm and blow the boat in half.
Yeah.
Some traditions believe that the underwater panthers could be helpful, protective creatures. For example, it was believed to shelter and feed those who fell into winter ice. It seems like that, like, spirits are really shitty, but they're not truly evil sometimes. Except for the rolling head. But, like, they seem to be just assholes, but they're not monsters. Like if you were unfortunate enough to fall into winter ice, like, they'll help you out. But if you're just stupid enough to, like, take your children down a stormy rapid, it's fair game at that point.
Yeah.
The water monado, or the panther and serpent, endowed medicinal power over the shamans who accepted his guardianship. Shamans is in quotation, by the way. So I'm just gonna
Fake shamans. Fake shamans are trying to tell you they can commit wizardry. No, they're not doing it.
Yeah, they're spiritual practitioners, otherwise known as weed head. Actually, no, I will not disrespect. I'm cutting that. I will not disrespect shamans like that. It made gifts of copper. That is said to say the Ojibwe believed such rock formations partly submerged in... Okay, I gotta read that louder. It made gifts of copper. That is to say, the Ojibwe believed that such rock formations partly submerged in water with copper lode protrusions to be divinity. Huh. Which would allow passerbys to cut off the copper from its horns. So, right, if I'm reading that right, are they saying that, like, the rocks that they gift to them are able to cut off the copper from the horns?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, if you put these specific gifts in the water, they're like given divinity. They're blessed, which allows you to cut off the copper from the horns. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But more often, they were viewed as malevolent beasts that brought death and misfortune, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
They often need to be placided for safe passage across the lake. So what's placided? What does that mean in this context? To placid, make less angry or hostile. Alright, so to pacify.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, I might be a dumbass. This might be placated, actually.
Placate.
Yep, placate. Okay, I'm just a dumbass. For a safe passage
I was
across
thinking there was
the
an
lake.
I in there, because I'm not, actively looking at it. I'm trying not to die right now.
My stupid American brain just sees C's and I immediately go sated. As late as the 1950s, the Prairie Band of Potawatomi. Potawatomi Indians were a traditional ceremony to placate the underwater panther and maintain balance with the thunderbirds. So, like, this is just a vicious cycle. They calm the panthers, and then the thunderbirds turn half of the water into an electric current. And then after that, they go to make peace with them again. This sounds abusive, in my opinion. Like, they bring gifts to the people, and then, in turn, the Thunderbirds fucking obliterate them.
The world's abusive. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, not gonna lie, if it's between the nerd-ass water panthers or the cool Thunderbirds that, like, have their HQ on a flying mountain, I'm kind of biased for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
They're just a lot cooler. When ethnographer Joanne George Cole visited the United States in the 1850s, he spoke to a Fond du Lac. No, the Fond du Lac chief. Okay, spoke of a Fond du Lac chief. I assume that means that Fond du Lac was a tribe.
Yeah.
Alright. Who showed Cole a piece of copper kept by his medicine bag. The chief said it was a strand of hair from the Mr. Beast. And thus considered extremely powerful. Huh. So, like, how did he confirm that? Actually, no, I'm not going to question Native American lore. That's all we've been doing this video.
Yeah, learning and questioning.
All right, let's get 3 more under the belt. The cannibal dwarves. Everything is either a cannibal or a really angry spirit who can shapeshift.
Yeah. I'd imagine the whole shape-shifting part comes from, the fact that they're in the woods a lot. Can't really get a good look at things. In the woods. I know you've never been in the woods, you fucking city slicker boy.
Fuck
But,
off. I have woods right outside.
But yeah, it is pretty easy to find and then not find something over the course of 3 seconds. So I'd imagine shape-shifting comes from a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, a whole lot of like
Mostly just-
light camouflage and probably a lot of quote unquote medicines that they take in egregious amounts.
These mushrooms make me feel good. What the
But
fuck?
Payne is the Johnny Appleseed of America. He goes right outside and like a bald eagle MP4 plays right when he opens the door. It is endless forest and terrain. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know why you had to compare me to. I mean, I'll take it, I'll take being
see
Johnny
that?
Appleseed.
Like
It's pretty cool.
Peyton shits on it all the time. Like every single time he looks outside, he complains about the fucking tree. Alright, I'm sorry. I'll probably cut that out.
These are big ass trees, man.
The Little Cannibals of the Plains. Huh. This is an interesting name, so let me just like make sure I got it right. The Hichas Itehi. Sounds like a Hidden Leaf village clan. The Hichas Itehi, right. So Itas Hichehi, or the dwarves, the cannibal dwarves. Among the dreaded figures in the lore of the Plains Indians were child-sized dwarves who were incredibly strong, very aggressive, bloodthirsty, and often attack in large numbers. So this is Massachusetts, guys. I know, I'm 5'8".
Yeah, you're too short to be part of it.
Come from... Okay. Shit, wait, I forgot how to say their name again. Okay. The Hichasite. The Hichasite come from the Arapaho word meaning strong. I should read more. We should do this more just so I'm more literate. The Arapaho word meaning strong. The Arapaho also call them the Hekasitai. The Hekasitaihi, meaning little people. Alright. These small, fearsome warriors were said to be so aggressive because they believe... Okay. These small, fearsome warriors were said to be so aggressive because they believed they had to be killed in battle to reach the afterlife. Oh, so it's like the Slayer dwarves from Warhammer.
Oh, I was thinking the Vikings, because, Valhalla.
That too, yeah. If you don't know, there's like these Slayer dwarves. I think they're called like dwarf slayers. And their whole thing is they like drop, dwarves wear like a metric ton of iron?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Slayer dwarves don't do that. They're like shirtless and have tattoos. It's like the final class in Vermintide 2 with the dual axes.
I'm pretty sure it's the second one. I'm pretty sure it's the marksman, then the berserker, and then the super armored guy. Could be wrong though.
It's a third class. I don't know, I'm like level 30 with them. I should know. These small, fearsome warriors are said to be so aggressive because they believed they had to be killed in battle to reach the afterlife. These small creatures dwell in the vast area of the Great Plains between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains. They are known in the legends of the... Okay, this is a lot. The Cheyenne, the Crow, the Arapaho, the Omaha, the Osage, Kansa, Shoshone, Comanche, or the Comanche, the Ponca, and the Gros Ventre. No, Venture. Again, I'm terribly sorry to my Native American audience. Descriptions of these mini monsters can vary from tribe to tribe. Amongst some... Hey, shush! Alright, I gotta wait for the dog. Stop.
I didn't even hear the dog.
Oh, you can't hear the dog?
Yeah.
Descriptions of these mini monsters vary from tribe to tribe. Oh my lord. No, I'm just gonna keep reading. Among some Sioux tribes, including the Osage, okay, I've already read all these. You know, the Osage, Omaha, Kansas. They said that sometimes they have wings. And the Omaha further say that they have only one eye. The Crow sees them with pot bellies and no necks. These are vastly different descriptions. Wings? I feel like that's a pretty extreme description.
Yeah, no. They were fat and had no neck. They had wings.
So among the Omaha and Ponca, they were called the Gadaze. Again, butchered that. Meaning wild people who hunted with bows and poisoned arrows and were said to have been able to produce wounds under the skin without breaking flesh. That's terrifying. Internal bleeding.
Yeah, that's...
So, like, this is a theory, but, like, we know that Native American tribes used to fight each other. You think that this is, like, propaganda on, like, some other poor fucking tribe that got wiped off the face of the earth because they didn't have any alliances?
Probably. Anyway, I killed the old lady. And Vort.
He's not talking about a game, by the way.
And Vort was my neighbor, the bastard.
Vort is such a cool neighbor name. Sorry if it sounds like a giant is walking in the background. I don't know who slammed the door that hard.
Once again, I didn't hear a damn thing.
Yeah, he's skinned without the flesh. Okay. Among most of the Plains Indians, these tiny warriors were described to be 2 to 4 feet tall. These are... I think they are just making fun of other Indians. Or Native Americans. I don't think saying Indians is a good thing.
Yeah, it depends from person to person. You should probably just say Native American.
I don't think they minded, especially like the Apaches. Watch, the Apaches probably minded it the most.
There is going to be an Apache warlord at your doorstep within the next week.
They still exist, right?
I imagine in some form, yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna put up on the screen whether they exist or not. Among most of the Plains Indians, these tiny warriors are described to be 2 to 4 feet tall, are dark-skinned, and have squat necks and sharp teeth, and can run very vastly, far outpacing their human counterparts. What the fuck is this typing? Again. Like, I make my own scripts for my videos. This doesn't sound right. And can run very vastly, far outpacing their human counterparts. That doesn't sound right. They are almost always hostile to human beings and are gluttonous, killing more people than they could possibly eat. It's not funny.
God.
The wild people have magical powers and can be dangerous. Sometimes kidnapping children or using witchcraft to harm people. Some legends say that they have the power to turn themselves invisible. Again, I'm going back to British now. This is starting to loop back to British. Gluttonous and killing more people than they could possibly eat. They're magical
Once again,
and kidnap
when you think of
children.
the scariest thing you could think of, it's always the British.
It's always the British.
Yeah.
Alright, is that Einstein? We're on our last two. The Basket Ogress, otherwise known as the Zunukwa. It's a mask.
Yeah.
She's an ancestor of the... Okay, already getting into it. She's an ancestor of the Anamgis clan through her son to a Silwalagami. I'm just gonna say. She is veneered as a bringer of wealth, but is also greatly feared by children because she's also known as the Ogress, who steals children and carries them home in her basket to eat. Wow. So this is like a person. This is a This is a single entity. Her appearance is that of a naked old monster, black in color, with long pendulous breasts.
God damn.
Interesting. In mask and totem pole images, she is shown with bright red pursed lips because she is said to give the call "hu." It is often told to children that the sound of the wind blowing through the cedar trees is actually the call of the Zunukwa. This is very African. Like the masks, the totems, even like the description, the long breasts.
Long breast, hum.
Like the explicit nudity, how tall it is, things like that. That's like very African.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made a notification sound.
Okay, you gotta look at it.
Okay, fine. What? Okay.
Okay, we can resume.
What's your name for the viewers?
I think it's smart. I think that I just named it smart.
Alright. Smart.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Some myths say that she is able to bring herself back from the dead and regenerate any wounds. She has limited eyesight and can be easily avoided because she can barely see. So, like, this is just like a 9-foot tall, naked black woman with a really, really nasty mask crawling around, like stalking in the night, but it also just can't see shit. She is also said to be rather drowsy and dim-witted. Are we sure this is not just like an African woman who ended up on American soil in a really messed up state? She possesses the great wealth and will bestow it upon those who are able to get control of her child. So she has money. This is a naked blind woman who is said to be quite dim-witted, but she has more money than you can imagine. As long as you could, like, search the Rockies and the redwoods for a
goals,
child.
to be honest, bro. Hashtag goals.
Okay. In one myth, a band, it is not specifying which band, just a band, tricks her into falling into a pit of fire. Jesus Christ. The tribe burned her for many days until nothing was left, which prevented her from reviving herself. It is said the ashes that came off from this fire turned into mosquitoes. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, these assholes not only burned a blind, disabled woman, but they also are responsible for mosquitoes. This woman has done nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all to even imply that she's dangerous. In fact, it's said that she has great riches. Somehow. Considering there's only one of them and she was burned in the fire, I'm going to assume that they never found one of her kids to prove this theory. Huh.
Very interesting.
Well, now for my favorite Native American tale. Payne, have you heard of the La Lashuza?
No.
La Lashuza is technically a mix between ancient Mexican and, like, Texan Native American legend.
Alright.
It's not on, like, any sort of list, but it is one of my favorites.
Skleet.
Does she not have a Wikipedia?
That'd be quite sad.
I mean, there's a cryptid wiki. Man, that's so sad. Like, it's such a crazy legend, too. I really hope it does her the justice. La Lashuza, or the Lashuza, is either shape-shifting witches or spirits of Hispanic folklore. Tales of Lashuza are quite popular in Mexico and Texas. Some authors associated the 1976 sightings of the cryptid Big Bird with the Lashuza in folklore. In modern world, the Lasuza is associated with the barn owl. So, despite it being barn owls in modern times, I believe back then the Texan view of it was the great horned owl.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it kind of helped with like the fear factor that great horned owls had. It was said that like owls kind of harbingers of evil, kind of like black cats for us. So yeah. So this is actually a different approach to the lore, actually. Apparently, a human-sized bird with a woman's face. If I'm not mistaken, these things in like bird form are 7 feet tall and have a 15-foot wingspan.
Yeah, it's big. Way too big. Fucking what the hell?
It's massive. The Shuza are women who have sold their souls to the devil in exchange for magical powers. At night, they transform into monsters with a bird's body and a woman's face, similar to depictions of harpies from Greek mythology. They then fly through the night in search of prey. When a Lasuza finds her target, she will perch in a location where she can't easily be seen and then will make either strange whistles or the sound of an infant's crying. Anyone who attempts to determine where the sound is coming from is at risk of becoming Lasuza's dinner. The Lasuza will then swoop down and carry out the confused and horrified individual. In some versions of the story, the Lasuza is the spirit of a witch who was murdered by locals. Her spirit returns in the form of a bird monster to get revenge. In other tales, Lasuza is a vengeful spirit of a woman who has returned from the grave to torment the living and seek revenge. If I'm not mistaken, too, they hunt down people who, like, have either hurt them or their children, or they'll just hunt children down specifically. They're like, it's such an old monster that it has so many recollections of the lore. In modern times, most reported run-ins of the witch bird involve her swooping down at cars, driving deserted roads at night. That has to be, hands down, the scariest shit that could possibly happen to you. Outside of, like, Mothman doing that terrorist shit and nuking the bridge. You know about that? Mothman in the bridge?
No, what the fuck?
So,
Huh? Oh, God.
Yeah, Silver Bridge. Basically, one night there was a multitude of sightings from Mothman. In West Virginia, right? Mothman was like, he's really big there, obviously. And one night there was just, or one day really, there were just a shit ton of sightings of the Mothman outside of the bridge. And on that same day, the bridge suddenly collapsed. The bridge was seen as structurally sound. There was no like prior warnings or red flags to it. It just fell, and obviously a horrific amount of people died. And that's kind of like what it's tied to now. Everybody thinks that Mothman just like, he brings disaster or harbinges doom wherever he goes. Yeah, 46 people were dead and 2 were never found.
Hashtag uh-oh.
Hashtag uh-oh.
Sorry, what?
Hashtag uh-oh.
Yeah.
This is exactly how spirits come to haunt you.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was gonna try to 100% tabs. I'm not doing that shit. God damn, I hate. Just, I'm not killing 100 vampires while possessing a night unit.
By the way,
I'm not doing that.
they implied that, or like the legend implies that there's nothing wrong with the bridge. From what I'm reading, that there was a shit ton of problems with the bridge.
Yeah, probably.
Is the dog done barking? You done?
Okay.
I love my dog very much. I'm not gonna like Palpatine her like Hassan. Sorry for just going quiet. I'm trying to find where you left off. Right. Powers. As a witch, Lasuza possesses supernatural powers, and one of the powers of Lasuza is to summon storms. Storms? I didn't know that. Sightings of Lasuza are believed to coincide with thunderstorms. Lasuza possesses the power to shapeshift into birds and monsters at night. It also possesses the powers to disguise their voices and cry out to infants. Or cry out like infants. It's in Banshee as well. It is also immune to weapons and are possibly immortal. They fear salt. Huh. Okay. Let's go to another source for LaShuza as well, because it kind of goes a bit more in-depth of her. Yeah, along the border of North Mexico and Texas, Rio Grande Valley, which, by the way, is such a cool location name. Texas, Rio Grande Valley. That's sick.
Mio de noche.
I'm keeping that in. I don't even know specifically what you said. It sounds racist enough for my American brain to be like, all right, we're keeping that in.
Huh? I was not being racist.
Rio de Noche.
It's a reference to some guy saying mayonnaise.
I know the meme you're talking about. Alright. This one's a lot more specific about her, though. So, along the borders of northern Mexico, in Texas, Rio Grande Valley, there are whispers of a creature known as a La Lechuza, a 7-foot owl with a woman's face, whose cries can be heard at night, enticing victims to wander into her clutches. There's a plane passing. That's a helicopter. That is a really loud helicopter. In some tellings, Lechuza is a human woman, but an act of cruelty committed against her as a child has turned her into a vengeful monster. This seems like this is the version that I've seen more of, where she is not born a malevolent or evil soul, rather she was harmed as a child.
Yeah, no.
In others, La Lechuza is a witch's familiar serving her mistress, who will abduct children. Alright, serving her mistress by abducting children and perhaps be a servant of Satan himself. One who feeds on negative emotions of humans who have the misfortune of encountering her. In every version of the legend, though, one thing can be certain. Seeing a Lechuza is a bad omen. Perhaps of your own death and nether some... Okay. Sorry. In every version of the legend, though, one thing is certain. Seeing Lechuza is a bad omen. Perhaps your own death, and is never something to take lightly. So, here's where it gets pretty crazy. In my opinion, I think that Lechuza is one of the most overpowered, cryptids out there. Many legend descriptions of the Lechuza are inconsistent, with only a few similarities from story to story. How I'm pretty sure she's also a nether world tale. She kind of got into the modern Western legend type place where a lot of her stories are very on the account local legend. So there's going to be a ridiculous amount of different versions of her, like Mothman. But yeah, the widely accepted understanding of the Lechuza is it's described to be a large owl, roughly 7 feet tall and a wingspan of 15 feet, in the face of a usually older woman. Old. I don't know why I laughed there. As writer Kayla Padilla recounted in the Trinitonian, stories of the Lechuza are prominent in some regions of Mexico and Texas. In Padilla's hometown, it was said that Lechuza, literally translating the owl, was a white owl possessed by a witch. Elsewhere, however, Lechuza might take the form of a woman during the day and an owl at night. Again, the details differ. Many versions of the story include Padilla's, many versions of the story, including Padilla's, say that Lechuza will make a sound that's like a crying infant, hoping to draw its victim closer into the open, where it could snatch them up and return to its lair, prey in its clutches. I like how it just doesn't kill them right then and there, it takes them someplace. A person should also not look at Lechuza's face for too long, lest the creature becomes angry. I feel like if it's already near you, it's already made up its mind. It doesn't want you walking away at that point. Some believe that while the Lechuza is out hunting, its human body remains elsewhere. Ooh, that's cool. Usually locked in a room or unconscious. I didn't know that. That's sick. Many believe that killing a Lechuza also kills the person inhabiting it, and that a special prayer can unveil the true identity of Lechuza in the community. One of the most popular recurring themes of Lechuza weapon and legends, according to Mexico Unexplained, I have no idea what that is. It says .com. Oh boy. Misinformation. The first episode on the podcast is that Lashuza was once a human woman who was wronged in some way and now roams the earth as a half-human creature seeking revenge. Some versions of the story say her child was killed for a crime he did not commit, so now she steals lost children away from their parents. I love how she just takes it out on random adults that have done nothing wrong. Another variation of the tale says that Lashuza was killed by a drunk man and that she exacts her revenge on preying on drunks who stumble out of local bars. To be blackout drunk and seeing a woman that is taller than a basketball player, presumably there to kill you. It is, well, either way, that's terrifying in general, but like, half owl? Ugh. Alright. Most tales of Lashuza emphasize the difficulty of killing or warding off the mythical creature. It can't be hurt by bullets, and one who attempts to shoot it and fails to kill it dies instead. Anyone the Lashuza touches, even if it's just one feather from its wing, dies. Dreaming about the Lashuza means a family member will die soon. Encountering a Lashuza then means almost certain death. Still, there are several methods of warding off Lashuza, most of which involve the incantations of prayers or the appliances of herbs such as chili powder and salt. But like the legends themselves, these methods differ from story to story. I like the idea that it specifies gun violence against it. Like, this thing is respected enough in a modern space to where, like, they have recorded gun encounters with it, allegedly, where, like, the shooter dies instead of the person that is, or instead of the Lashuza. Like, Lashuza is one of my favorite ones. The idea that a woman out there, like, it's so convoluted, which allows so much creativity around it. But, like, even just the idea of it being two different bodies operating off of the same evil intentions towards others, or like some type of backwards vigilante.
Okay.
I'd also imagine too that, like, since it's like in a time of guns, I wonder like what else it would be immune to as well. Like, can you just not stab the thing? What if you put holy water or like some type of spirit water on your weapons? Would that wound it?
Maybe. I don't. Maybe you just die. Still, maybe that's just like no matter what, you're just gonna die.
The idea of like its feathers touching you too, instantly killing you. That is haunting. Like, do you even need to know if it's her feathers? Like, what if she just drops feathers in the forest and you touch one of them and just instantly just like explode?
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be pretty hard to deal with.
Then there's the one more thing about him, right? The size of her, a 7-foot tall, 15-foot wingspan. I like how there is such few consistencies throughout the story, but all the consistent points are still terrifying. And not just that, but those consistencies, like, they're cross-cultural as well. Like, they're from Mexican into Native American. Like, the idea that two different cultures, or I assume they're not really all that different from each other, they're, like, very intertwined. Considering it's Texas. Like, the idea that around that area in general, in the Rio Grande valleys, and, like, places in Mexico, she's just a genuinely feared figure. I love stories like that. Like, things that have survived the test of time. And have a haunting infamy just because of the fact that they've lasted so long and have so many versions of the same creature. I guess is there any monster you want to look at?
Nah. I think I'm good.
Want to end off with Mothman? Actually, his wiki's gonna take forever. Mothman was my favorite as a kid. Mothman. In American folklore, Mothman is the name given to a humanoid creature that was reportedly seen around Point Pleasant, west of Virginia, November 15, 1966. Again, just descriptions like that. Point Pleasant in West Virginia. There's something about pure American folklore and urban legends that are so damn cool. I can't find the word for it, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's because Americans are so boring compared to other cultures. So when you like see all these cool ass legends that Americans make, you're like, holy shit, that's cool.
We can do that. We can do something, man.
From November 15, 1966 to December 15, 1967, despite its name, the original sightings of the creature described avian features. The first newspaper report was published in the Point Pleasant Register, dated November 16, 1966, called "The Couple See Man-Sized Bird Creature Something." The couple see the man-sized bird creature something. Whoever was writing that was not paid enough. The national.
We're not paid at all.
Yeah, that's true. This was 1966. It was probably like an 8-year-old running the press. The national press soon picked up the reports and helped spread the story across the United States. The source of the legend is believed to have originated from sightings of out-of-migration sandhill cranes or herons. Huh. Man-sized bird or a herring. Where would you get the red eyes from, though? The creature was introduced to a wider audience by Gray Barker in 1970 and was later popularized by John Keel in his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, claiming that there are paranormal events related to the sightings and a connection to the collapse of the Silver Bridge. You know, fuck you, John Keel.
Yeah, John Keel.
Like, when did the Silver Bridge collapse? 1928?
Got recommended to me. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Gardner Ban 6 just got recommended to me. So, wait, there's a 7? There's an 8? Gardner Ban 8 Anti-Devil.
Huh.
Whoa, what the fuck is that?
The Mothman Prophecies. Honestly, writing a book off of that bridge collapse so soon, like, fuck off. Imagine being a survivor of that shit. And, like, some dude writes a story like, it was the Mothman. I saw him with me own 2 eyes.
There was a giant black thing with red eyes and wings.
He gnawed on the cables. Giant black thing.
He ate concrete.
He flew away towards a minority neighborhood after the deed was done. How many, like, depictions of some of these things do you think just come purely off of racism? Like, Mothman is just a black figure, but it's also nice.
Mothman specifically, I guess this is probably a good jump.
Completely black, red eyes, collapse a bridge. Possibly, like, just about the size of a popular basketball player. Not.
Do you think?
Not to.
How tall is Mothman? How tall is Mothman?
Yeah, let's see. How tall is Mothman? 5 to 7 feet. That's actually hilarious. 5 feet?
Alright, we're gonna go with 7 feet.
Yeah, just.
Yao Ming, obviously, is 7'6". Victor Wembany. I know this guy. He's often referred to as Wemby, so I'm gonna refer to him as Wemby. He's 6'4". He's one of the scariest basketball players I've ever seen. That motherfucker moves way too fast for being 7'4".
His wings, too, probably, like... Probably... We're not blaming West Virginian stories on black people, guys. This is not
French.
what we do on the channel. He's French.
Yeah. Well, it just says French basketball player. His name is His last name is Wembanyama. WEMBANYAMA. It's bullshit, obviously. French for San Antonio Spurs. Oh yeah, they just lost a game to the Lakers.
The terrifying true story. Not even the first sentence, and it says alleged. You know, a 5-foot dude. I really want to imagine that this guy's like 5 feet with a 10-foot wingspan. He like flies erratically. He didn't even mean to knock down the bridge. He just accidentally flew into it. Alright. I think we should end here before we start wandering off.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the hangar. Pan, do you have any outro? We should have like, I should make like a Golden Girls outro.
Fuck it.
I'll see you guys.
Yes.
Not you, you're staying right here. No, not. You could go.
What?
Not you, boy. You're not going anywhere. Honestly, I'm gonna post this on some type of podcast web. Sorry for anybody who don't have the visuals and name corrections, but if you enjoyed this episode, go check out the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys. Hello, Baron from the future here. Thank you for watching the Hangar podcast. I put a lot of work into these videos, so if you want to support me, then make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Artistic Baron, for more content and art, or just catch a stream sometime. Leave a comment down below, and check out Miss Cozart. She composed the Hangar horror scene music in the clip at the beginning of the podcast. Lastly, for updates, check my Instagram. It's also linked below. And support your local indigenous people. Our stories stretch far and wide. Have a happy fall, and look into the dark sometimes. You might just see something staring back. Onward, says the Baron.